everybody. It is Barbara Schwartz. Thank you for joining us here this evening. It's nice to see all of you. I'm sure you're all prepping for Thanksgiving. It's been really interesting talking to my clients over the past few days. It's amazing how many people have said my own success is more important than a Thanksgiving meal. And hi, Stacy. Nice to see you. I miss you. I was really impressed with how many people are taking their journey and their success so seriously. I had one client this evening. She said to me, you know what I realized? And I asked her for permission. She said, it's not even one day. It's one meal. And yeah, there are, okay, all these foods that I love, but they'll always be there. And I'm so on track that why would I sabotage that for one meal? So what I like to remind people is just from that, planning equals success. So what I want to talk about this evening is what's your plan? I'm not saying don't indulge in Thanksgiving, but there's Thanksgiving Day, and then there's the day after. And then there's the weekend. And we've got a lot that we've got to face over the next few days for many people. And not everybody celebrates Thanksgiving, but most families and most people here in the U.S. do participate in some way. And the key is in the planning. It's all about planning. Again, planning equals success. So what is your plan? Now, first of all, if you don't want to go evacuate, you don't need to. Again, it may be a bit tough to be on a milk day. So if your Thanksgiving, if Thursday falls on a milk day, reach out to us tomorrow. Tomorrow is Tuesday. That gives us enough time to change let's flip your calendar and let's make sure it's a veggie day. And I'll be honest, under this circumstance, if you can't reach one of us, just make it a veggie day. Just do it. Let's set you up for success. There are lots of wonderful vegetable recipes that you can use on Thanksgiving Day and not feel deprived at all. We did put together a collection of recipes that are very Thanksgiving oriented, like our butternut squash faux mashed potato, sweet mashed potato. I'll be honest, I make that every year. Well, when we do celebrate with family, often my daughter and I do something else. Or just have a day, the two of us. My family isn't always big on Thanksgiving. We feel like all the time is Thanksgiving. And but when I do celebrate, I usually make the faux sweet sweet potato mashed. And what I do is I don't have time I'm not very good at actually slicing up butternut squash. I buy the pre-cubed organic. Usually it's a 20-ounce package. I usually buy 2 packages, and I spread them out on a baking pan. I do a little quick spritz of baking spray, and I sometimes season with a little bit of salt and pepper. And I just bake it on a low flame or low heat. And every 20 minutes or so, I turn all of them so they don't burn. And then after the first 40 minutes, 1 hour, I start checking it with a fork. When the fork easily pierces the butternut squash, it's ready. I take it out. I split it in 2. One bowl, I just mash up, simple, maybe a little salt and pepper. And the other one, I season up with some cinnamon, nutmeg, and all the spices of the season. I will tell you, I've never told the family that I was making butternut squash and not sweet potato, and it's every year it's all gone. Every year there are no leftovers of that. So I will tell you, just that alone can be a simple change that sets you up for success if one of your favorite things is sweet potato. So there are wonderful ideas like that and wonderful recipe ideas. Again, we've compiled them for you, and you'll find them right on the homepage. And again, it's all about planning and setting yourself up for success. Now, for most of you have expressed that you do want turkey and you want the day off, and it might not be turkey. Your family might have a different tradition, and that's okay. It's one day. It's not even one day. It's one meal. But let's talk about some basic guidelines, not rules, but guidelines. Number one, and by the way, the Thanksgiving Day plan is available at the website, accurate.com/Thanksgiving. That's a shortcut that will take you to the special protocols, and you're going to see a link for the Thanksgiving Day plan. So all you need to do, if you want to see this in writing, accurate.com/Thanksgiving, and that's going to take you right there so you can see this in black and white, okay? So the plan is there. You're going to build your meals around vegetables and protein. Protein, turkey's protein, or whatever main meal that you're having. Everything else is a taste. So let's talk about, what does that mean? Tasting, right? Now, why do you want it? Because it tastes good and you haven't had it in a while and you're looking forward to it. And maybe it's an annual tradition. Maybe there are some family recipes that only come out in Thanksgiving and you don't want to wait a whole year for it. Okay, I get that. I totally get it. And I respect that, nor do I want you to be deprived of it. But here's the thing. And again, normally if you're in my office or we're doing a one-on-one, I do this as a Q&A versus me telling you. And the reason I'm going to say that is tonight I'm talking to a computer screen, so I'm talking to you. You're listening, but when you're listening, you're taking information in. If I ask you a question and you have to answer it, then you're thinking. So I'm going to do a little experiment here and do a little bit of both. Maybe initially ask it as a question, but obviously because you can't answer, hi Lori, because you can't actually answer me, I'll pause for a minute so you can actually answer it for yourself, and then I'll keep talking and as if you've answered me, okay? So I'm going to do it that way. Let's do that as a trial and error. So first question, and I want you to understand, there are no trick questions here. You actually know the answer to every one of these questions that I'm going to ask you. But because I'm going to ask them as questions, you might feel like you're unsure. And it's okay to feel insecure here. I will tell you, when I'm face-to-face with a client, it's amazing at how many of them are like, as they're trying to answer, and everybody answers it correctly. These are things that you know. But as I said to one of the young women I spoke to this evening, when I asked her this question, and I said, when's the last time anyone ever asked you this? And she said, I don't think anyone ever has. So again, this is your education journey as well as your weight loss journey, right? This is, again, we're learning to improve our relationship with food. So question, where are your taste buds? Where are your taste buds? Good question, right? Now, I know you know the answer to it. I'll tell you that because some people feel it's a trick question, some people will actually say, in my head? Do we taste with our head? I mean, it's part of the process. It's part of the satisfaction. But you're right, Lori, to a certain extent, it's not just the tip of the tongue, it is our whole tongue. And often people will say it's in my mouth. Yes, in your mouth. But most importantly, it is your tongue. Our taste buds are on our tongue. Now, I'm talking right now. How do we form words? So question number 2, how do we speak? How do we form words? So I want you to think about that for a second, and I want you to answer, and ideally answer yourself out loud. So we said our taste buds are on our tongue. How do we form words? Hey, Dory, welcome. The answer to that, think about it. If someone cut out your tongue, you'd be a mute. So the tongue is an important muscle that is used in forming words. So we've now established a really important connection here. Our tongue holds our taste buds, and our tongue is used to speak. Okay. Now, and Thanksgiving, any social occasion, any holiday, we got food and we got social. So we're going to have this Conversation, food, and conversation both happening at the same time. So we know, number one, from etiquette, it is not polite to speak with your mouth full. So number one, it's not polite. But more importantly, why do you want the food that you're not having? You want it because you miss the taste. That's the answer I always hear. Now, often again, if I say that to you, why do you want it so bad? Not because your belly misses it, because you miss it, right? You miss the taste of it. And we just established that your taste buds are on your tongue. And we also established that your tongue is required to speak. So right now, if I was sitting at a dinner table and I'm speaking with you and we're telling stories, we're catching up, we're with friends, loved ones, family members who we haven't seen in a while, and we're catching up. So we're talking. Do you think if I was eating right now, besides being impolite, question, do you think your taste buds are tasting while you're talking? I want you to think about that for a minute. Do you think your taste buds are tasting while you're talking? The answer, taste buds are engaged about 10%, approximately 10%. That means approximately 90% of the taste buds are not engaged with your brain when you're busy talking and forming words. Now, if the reason you want the food is the taste and you're missing 90%, well, that's a pretty much waste of space, right? It's a waste of calories. It's a waste of the food. How many times have you ever been at a social event or been to a restaurant and you're having a really social time and you look down at your plate and go, whoa, wait a minute. When did I eat that? I don't remember eating that. And if you're at a salad bar or a buffet or at home or at a friend's, all of a sudden you're digging into seconds. Now, one of the beauties of AccuWeight, the acupressure has reconnected the hypothalamus with your stomach. They're friends again. They're talking. It's really cool, right? So now your stomach is sending signals to the brain saying, I'm satisfied, or I'm full, or I'm stuffed. But the stomach and the brain are talking. Now, I want you to recognize it does take 20 minutes for the stomach to have enough awareness to send that initial signal to the brain. So eating fast and wolfing things down, number one, is going to be counterproductive because the stomach doesn't have time to engage the brain to know what's going on. So number one, we do want to slow it down. But number two, we just said if we're talking and we're distracted, the taste buds are not engaged with the food. So if our taste buds are not genuinely having an opportunity to enjoy what we're eating, the brain, the satiation center says, oh, I didn't get any yet. So now here's this triangle, this three-pronged friendship. Our stomach, our mouth, and our brain. So here's this three-pronged friendship. And our friend, the stomach, is sending a signal or is talking to our mouth and our brain. And it's going, hey, I'm starting to get satisfied. Maybe we should start wrapping this up. And the mouth and the brain are saying, hey, friend, stomach down there, I don't know what you're talking about because I didn't start eating yet. So you're just mistaken. So now you're eating a little more. And your stomach is going, whoa, not only am I satisfied, I'm starting to get full. And the mouth and the brain are going, friend down there, don't know what you're talking about. I haven't eaten yet. There's no satisfaction here. I'm not engaged. We didn't eat yet. So the mouth and the brain keep you going, right? Fork, hand to mouth, hand to mouth. We keep it going. Now we get that Thanksgiving, I am stuffed fuller than the turkey, right? How many people at the end of Thanksgiving, you can roll them away from the table. Oh, I am so stuffed. Well, guess what? Your mouth and your brain are still saying, stomach, I don't know what you're talking about because I'm not satisfied yet. I didn't have anything yet. So that distracted eating, that non-engaged, tasteful eating, is actually one of the things sabotaging you, and often it's the culprit of why you're gaining weight or that you gained weight in the past, is just not allowing the stomach, the mouth, and the brain to have an open conversation on the same page. Because if the taste buds aren't engaged, no matter what signal the stomach sends, your mouth and your brain don't have satisfaction. And the overriding decision making is going to be, am I satisfied? Not stomach satisfied. So you don't have to be hungry anymore. And you're still going to say, but I'm hungry. So your body is not hungry, but your mouth and your brain are saying, I'm hungry, give me more. So let's talk about a couple of tips, because I'm going to one more time. Visuals are huge. Hi, Carol, welcome. Planning equals success. So now let's talk about the plan. Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple of tips. And these are things that we work on during stabilization as well. So if you're still on your weight loss journey, this is the first step of things you'll be looking at, of what does maintenance look like. Now, also with that in mind, if you're already on maintenance and you're not practicing things, these are tools that you can add to your toolbox that are going to help you with your ongoing maintenance. So we've already talked about our taste buds are on our tongue. So we want to be engaged with the food when we're eating it to have maximal satisfaction. Because again, when we're satisfied, when our stomach says we've had enough, it's much simpler to walk away from the food. So, number one, we want to make sure we're hydrated. So make sure you're starting your day with your water, with your electrolyte water, and let's be hydrated. So that's number one. And I'll also say part of our Thanksgiving protocol is some people want to engage and have a glass of wine or a cocktail, full glass of water before you engage in any alcohol, okay? And a full glass of water after you've had it. Cleanse your palate, slow you down, keep you hydrated so there's no hangover, okay? So a lot of reasons to drink the water first. So number one, let's drink our water. Number two, when you are talking, knife and fork down, a glass or bottle of water. I've got electrolytes in here, that's why it's not clear. A glass of water in your hand. This way, while you're talking, if anything absent-mindedly is going to your mouth, it's 0 calorie and it's hydrating, okay? So it's okay. This way we're absent-minded, we're hydrating, we're filling our belly, no harm, no foul. Now, when other people are talking, our ears are engaged. Now, we're not 100% engaged in the eating, but now our mouth and our taste buds are completely free. Now, we pick up our knife and fork, we cut, we take a bite. Now, most people's habit is to already start cutting the next piece while they're chewing. I'm going to challenge you to put the knife and fork down and put that glass of water back in your hand while you're chewing. This way, if anything absent-mindedly goes back to your mouth, it's the water. It's going to make you aware that you're not done chewing, and that out of habit, the hand is going back to the mouth. Because how many people have cut the next piece and put it in their mouth before they finish chewing and swallowed? Most people will cut their food and put the next bite in before they finish chewing and finish swallowing. So they've added more taste, but they haven't actually finished eating that first bite. So we're going to slow it down. Again, it takes 20 minutes for the stomach to talk to the brain, so this is going to help you slow it down and again bring the awareness. So now we're chewing. I believe it is officially 40 chews to officially fully break down our food, but I'm not going to get into the counting. Let's just say you want to finish chewing and you want to swallow it. We don't want to bite, swallow, because where are our taste buds? On our tongue. So if we want to taste it, it's got to be in our mouth, and we got to be savoring each bite to get the full satisfaction of what it is we're eating. And again, so we cut, we take a bite, we put the knife and fork down, we put our glass of water in our hand, and if anything absent-mindedly is going into our mouth, it's water. And again, that's actually going to dilute what you're chewing, and you're going to go, oh, wow, I didn't even realize that I did that. And it's going to help train you to slow it down and not to be putting that next bite in. Now, before you pick up the knife and fork and cut the next piece to put in your mouth, are you the one talking? Oh, you're still listening. Okay, well, let's cut some more. Put another bite in our mouth, knife and fork down, water back in our hand. Okay, so now we've got a plan, right? Planning equals success. So we're going to slow it down by cutting, knife and fork down, take a bite, put it down, and wait till we finish chewing before we take the next bite. So right there, in and of itself, we're slowing it down. Now our stomach is going to have a chance to tell our brain what's going on. So that's number one. Number two, sometimes something looks really good and it doesn't taste as good as we thought. How often have you eaten something that didn't taste so good because you didn't even notice because you were busy or you were distracted? So now you see something you really want, really taste and savor it. If it's not tasting good, move away from that food. You don't need it just because it's there, right? That's called empty calories. So we want to initially build our meal around the vegetables and protein. So vegetables and let's say our turkey. But there's the stuffing and the sweet potato. Again, you could do your butternut squash mash, but there might be different side dishes that are your family tradition. Somebody told me, oh, my family does macaroni and this one does this. And nothing is officially taboo. But you're going to build your meal around the vegetables and the proteins. And you're going to start with them. Everything else is a taste. And what did we do? Taste buds are on our tongue. So again, if we're going to taste the macaroni salad, we're not going to do it when we're talking. And we're not going to have it before the vegetables and turkey. Because we will overeat just because we're hungry, we're starving, right? Which again, that's here. And it could be dehydration. If we're hungry, that's a nudge towards food. But we want it. We haven't had it in a while. It's a treat, right? We haven't had it, and it's my mother makes a special recipe, and I haven't had it in so long. Great. I want your taste buds to enjoy it. But the way I just described it, where you take a forkful and you put it in your mouth and you really savor it and you chew it and you swallow it before you take that next bite. 2 to 3 bites will give you more satisfaction than a whole plateful. 2 to 3 forkfuls will give you more satisfaction than a whole plateful. So fill your belly with the vegetables and protein. Then have 2 to 3 forkfuls of the things that you want to taste. And maybe split it up. Take 1 forkful of this, 1 forkful of that, and of the favorite thing, go back and have 2 or 3 of that. 2 or 3 forkfuls of anything is never going to make you fat. It's just not. A plateful might, and a plateful on a regular basis might, but a taste here and a taste there is not going to sabotage your success. It is a day off. And if you're in the middle of plan, again, your body, because we have the chemistry evacuate with the 2 days, 2 days, 2 days, 2 days, eating off program, you will see a jump up in the scale. It's not real. It's mostly digestive fluid and the weight of the food that you're eating until the body finishes digesting it, absorbs the nutrients, and you create stool and you move your bowels. Your scale is going to jump up and more than you would expect. It's not real. Don't let it drive you crazy. You didn't screw up your whole weight loss plan. You got to enjoy a day. It's not going to make you restore the fat that you lost. So I want to remind you, pound of fat, right? That takes up a lot of space. I have a client who came in today. She just got off an airplane from being in Hawaii. So it's quite a long flight back to New York. And she said, I feel bloated, but I know, water weight from being on the airplane and she's hormonal at the moment. And she said, but I feel lean. I feel leaner. Well, you are. Don't your clothes fit better? Yeah. Well, because you've been on a plan where you're burning fat. The scale doesn't know about the bloat. It doesn't know what's inside of you. So, okay, not a big deal. Just remember, before you get on the scale, you know how you feel and how do your clothes fit. If you don't overindulge, and I like to say overindulgence is over. Indulgence is good for the soul. So if you're deciding to take Thanksgiving Day off, it's a day to indulge, not overindulge. Overindulgence is over. Indulgence, a bite here, a bite there, savored. That will give you all the satisfaction. So when your stomach says you've had enough, you don't know when that's going to happen, but you know that you can't eat what you used to eat after being on Accuvate. Anybody who's taken a day off will tell you. Your stomach has shrunk back to its normal size. And by the way, for each individual, if you make a loose fist, right, loose fist, that's approximately the size of your stomach. Now, obviously, the food on the plate, you've chewed it, it's smaller, it'll fit. But it's a stretchable organ, but it's shrunk back to its normal size. So it's not going to hold that much. So taste, savor, enjoy, indulge. But when this says, I'm satisfied, I've had enough. Again, we never know when it's going to happen. I always go, oh man, I was enjoying that. Well, as part of my maintenance, I've made a little pact with myself. I mentally signed a little contract that says whenever my stomach says I've had enough, I can have 2 to 3 bites of anything I want just for satisfaction. Because my stomach said it was satisfied. For pure satisfaction, I want to make sure my mouth and my brain are also satisfied. So when my stomach says I've had enough, I can have 2 to 3 bites of anything I want. So if I'm enjoying my main meal, I'm going to have 2 to 3 bites of that. If I was really looking forward to dessert, I'll push the plate away and I'll wait for dessert. And I'll indulge in those 2 to 3 bites. But that's one of my secrets for maintenance. I allow myself those couple of bites. Went out with some friends yesterday as an example. We went out with some friends yesterday. Actually, yes, Carol, I'll answer your question in a minute. So I'll get to that. My daughter and her friend both have birthdays that are coming up. And so my friend and I took our kids out. We went to Hard Rock Cafe. And you know what? I got a great vegetable fajita. And I wanted salmon, right? Healthy, nice food. Again, I'm maintenance. Actually, I told you I was doing a tune-up. I did. I've lost 7.5 pounds. I feel great. So I wanted to keep it simple. I got a piece of salmon with vegetable fajitas, and I ate all the stuff, and it was delicious. They didn't even have it on the menu. They did it special for me, and it was so good. They're thinking of adding it to the menu, they told me now at Hard Rock. So I enjoyed my food, but we all kind of were looking at the menu, and the kids, we were doing something for them. And I saw a dessert that sounded really good to me. And I said, you know what? My friend wanted something, and normally I'd say, let's share. But she wanted something that I didn't want. And I wanted something that she didn't want. And I said, you know what? It's a couple of dollars. How often are we here? We're celebrating the kid's birthday. Let's everybody get what they want. And that's it. And you know what? I got what I wanted, and I did exactly what I just told you. Now, it was a giant, I'll be honest, it was much bigger than I thought. It was about that big and really thick. I kind of wanted the top part. Took a forkful of just the top part. And not just the whatever, but the top layer. I took a bite. I savored. I enjoyed it. We got into conversation. When we were at a gap of conversation where everybody else was eating, I took another. I had 3 bites of the cake. actually apple crumble, I'll be honest. It had 3 bites. It was delicious. And I'll tell you too, if it wasn't delicious, because often desserts look better than they are. If it wasn't delicious after the first bite, I would have said, no, thank you. Don't care if it was there and that I paid for it. If it's not tasting good, I don't want it. But it tasted actually better than I expected. I wasn't quite sure. It tasted better than I expected. So I had 3 full bites of it. I enjoyed every minute of it. I'm not going to lie to you. But I'm also not concerned about my maintenance. I'm not concerned. I had 3 bites, and guess what? I didn't take it home. I threw it away, pushed it away, and said, feel free, take it. Does anybody else want some? Nobody wants it because we each got our own thing. I said, okay. In this case, I wasted a couple of dollars, so to speak, because I got this big thing. But I got what I wanted. It was my indulgence, both financially and orally. So, yeah, I'm going to do this because I want it. I don't do that all the time. I don't eat desserts like that are that rich and that sugary all the time. But we were indulging, and it was that kind of night, and I wanted it. But that's the point. I didn't feel deprived at all. I got everything I wanted, but you know what? After the first 3 bites, your taste buds start to go dull on specific flavors. So it's the first 2 to 3 bites that have the height of the flavor. By bite 4, the taste buds, it's lowering. It's now a dulled sensation because the taste buds have gotten that initial whoop, and it's lowering down. So now you're not even getting the maximal. So the 2 to 3 bites, especially when it's not something like your main meal, when it is that indulgence, beyond 2 to 3 bites, you're starting to even waste it. So let alone that, as they say, a lifetime on the lips, a minute on the lips, a lifetime on the hips. 2 to 3 bites, you're not going there. So you get the full indulgence without long-term ramifications. And that's what it comes down to. So guilt-free, I was able to have dessert yesterday. Okay, it was, again, these types of places, it's an expensive dessert. But what was it at the end of the day? An extra couple bucks? I walked out a happy girl. It's that simple. It's just be engaged. That takes practice. Again, I'm human. I'm still learning and developing new tools all the time. But when it comes to the tasting and being able to walk away, I got this. This is, for the most part, it's a done deal habit. But it takes time to get there. And that's why the best thing that you can do is while you're trying to learn to pay attention and be engaged is after you've put that fork in your mouth, put it down and put the glass of water in your hand. So if you're being absent-minded, it's not the next bite. Your hands are full and it's the water that's going in your mouth. Now, Carol, you were asking, can you stick to veggies, skip the protein, and maybe take a bite or 2 of a treat? Absolutely, why not? Sure, Thanksgiving, right? So this is all about what is your plan. What's your priority? If, you're really not that tempted by the turkey or whatever protein, but you want to indulge in a bite or 2, again, if you're not eating the whole pie, yeah, take a bite or 2. No guilt, but be engaged. Taste it, savor it, enjoy it, be guilt-free, but learn when it's time to walk away. Now, some tricks that I've seen people do is after they take the few bites, if they're tempted because it's still sitting there and the table hasn't been cleared. I know some people take ketchup or mustard and just squeeze it on it. So it kind of destroys it, so you won't accidentally pick on it. Or some people just pour water or do something on it. Or just get up. Or, if you're at home or at a friend's home or family's home, loved one's home, get up and go wrap it. Like if it's, something that you're going to doggy bag, then just put it away, right? Put it away. But I'm going to see if I don't know where I put my signs. I love to be visual. Let's see if I see them. I think you can still hear me when I'm off because I got my mic on. I don't think I have my little signs here. I love to use them. I think they went walkabout. Nope, I've got all my gold cards, but not my other ones. Just want to remind you, there's 2 ways to spell the word waste. W-A-I-S-T and W-A-S-T-E. So when you've had enough, when your stomach says you're satisfied, when you've taken your couple of bites of indulgence. You have two choices. WAIST, your middle, or the waste basket. Yesterday, I chose the waste basket for the extra dessert. Now, again, you have an option. There's always wrapping it and having it stored as leftovers or giving it away to someone else so you can share. It doesn't have to be waste, doesn't have to mean the garbage can. But yesterday, there was absolutely no reason for me to take that home, and I didn't feel that I was giving a gift to anybody by wrapping it and handing it to somebody else and sabotaging their weight. So I chose to waste basket it. I don't have guilt over that. I'll be honest, if it's good food and I don't need the leftovers, I'll wrap it and I will give it to a homeless person, etc. I'll take it home if it makes sense to be leftovers. I believe in doggy bagging and or sharing. But in this instant, the dessert, I have no guilt because it's something the inner child in me wanted. I enjoyed every bite, but I don't have a weight issue today. I don't have guilt. I can openly tell you guys about it and be proud because I indulged and I still get to maintain. And that's a real goal, right? But for many of you, you're not on maintenance yet. You're still in your weight journey. So this is just a cutout day, right? The Thanksgiving day, it's one day. It's a cutout day. We're just cutting it out and then getting back onto our plan. So just think of it as a cutout day, not a sabotage day. And one of my other favorite sayings from years ago when I was doing the Facebook social media posts myself, don't give up what you want most for what you want now. Don't give up what you want most for what you want now. All the things that you want now, they're still going to be here when you're done. So be committed to you, right? I like to say, now, many of you may not realize, and I feel comfortable enough talking to you guys, and I know I'm kind of talking to a computer screen, and I don't really know who's necessarily watching, but I feel really comfortable with you guys to say this. The satiation center in our brain for food and the desire center for food is the same as the desire center in our brain for sex. So we've learned morally to typically control our sex drives, but nobody ever taught us to control our food drives and our craving drives. So know that, number one, if you can control your sex drives, you can control your food drives. You just haven't learned how. And that's okay. This is a learning journey, right? But for most people, if they're in a relationship, and even if they're not, if you think about when you are in a relationship, would you accept someone cheating on you? For most people, the answer would be no. Well, you've made a commitment to yourself on this weight loss journey. So when you cheat, and again, Thanksgiving Day isn't a cheat, but when you cheat, the only person you're cheating on is you. If you wouldn't accept someone else cheating on you, why are you accepting you cheating on you? Don't you deserve better? I know you do. But again, people have said to me, nobody's ever said that to me before. You're right. The only person I'm cheating on is myself. And again, it's the inner child that's spawning me, or some cravings, or again, what I want now. But I have a goal. And that goal really is your long-term maintenance. But we got to get you there first. So I want you, Thanksgiving Day is not a cheat day. It's a planned day off if you're planning to take the day off. Or you do it as a vegetable day and just make it a change to your food cycle if it would have been a milk day. But it is a cutout day. It is not. So also from a mental perspective, it is not a cheat day. It is an adult decision day off. That is very different than cheating. I'm a grown-up and I've made the decision for my weight loss plan. I'm taking a day off. That's all. But I've got a plan. And again, planning equals success. I have a plan. This is what I'm doing for Thanksgiving. Now, let's talk about the day after Thanksgiving. If I'm going away on a mini vacation, I don't want to be in weight loss mode. Fair enough. Vegetables, fruits, protein. Light proteins. Ideally, stay away from red meat. It takes 3 to 5 days to digest a piece of red meat, so ideally stick with your light proteins. Chicken, fish, eggs, legumes, beans, chickpeas, hummus, things like that. Fruits, vegetables, proteins. You had your indulgence on Thanksgiving, so you had some carbs on Thanksgiving. You don't need them to enjoy your time away. So step away from the other carbs. Fruits, vegetables, protein. Then when you get back from your time away, start with 2 milk days. Not that 2 veggie days would be a disservice. You could. But if on the days off, you're putting solids into your body's not used to these other solids, and it has to get digested. So a milk day is liquid protein, right? It's a liquid day. The body doesn't have to work very hard to go through the digestive process. So it's giving the body time to catch up on the digestion of all the foods you've been eating. And it acclimates back down into the rhythm of the program. Eating vegetables, again, it's getting back into the chemistry of the program, but you're adding more solids on top of solids that need digesting. So you might feel yourself a little more getting towards that stuffed, or you might feel that something's sitting there. Or if you're somebody who suffers from acid reflux, you might notice, even though you're alkalized during the program and probably are feeling at this stage a reduction of acid reflux, doing Thanksgiving and potentially additional days off, you might notice a return of some acid reflux, and the vegetables will exacerbate that. The milk will calm it down and give your body a chance to catch up. So we do recommend coming off planned days off with 2 milk days. But again, let's say you do take Thanksgiving Day off, but you're around the rest of the weekend, but you have off work, so you're around the house more, and you just say, you know what, but doing 2 milk days, I'm a little afraid that I'm going to cheat. Well, then do 2 veggie days. That's okay. So we recommend that you come off Thanksgiving onto 2 milk days, but you don't have to. If it's what's going to set you up for success is 2 vegetable days, then proceed with 2 vegetable days. Do what you need to do. Plan ahead for your success. But I will say a lot of people have this obstacle that they're fine on Thanksgiving Day. It's the leftovers. And again, not being at work, kids being off school, being around the house a little more. All of a sudden, the Black Friday shopping and the Cyber Monday and all the things are coming at you. And you're like, it's the days after with the leftovers that shoot me in the foot. So I'm going to go back to saying, have a plan. Planning equals success. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, those are days away from now. You've got time to create a plan. Now, each of you, the weakness may be different. Okay, it could be that your favorite food is there, or that you showed control over Thanksgiving, so the inner child goes off the wire on Friday or Saturday. They're all different reasons, so I'm not going to pretend that it's a universal answer. But what you do need is a plan. So that plan could be your peppermint oil, dabbing it. It could be the Listerine breath strips for your tongue. It could be have your Dr. John's lollies, or make some extra anytime chocolate pudding, or the little frozen Aki bonbons that you can make. Have some legal treats around for yourself. Make sure, look, if your favorite thing is guacamole, then make the next day a vegetable day. Make sure you got some guacamole and carrot sticks in the house, so that when you feel like you're reaching for the turkey leftovers or the stuffing leftovers or the apple pie or pumpkin pie, that instead you've got something else to reach for that you enjoy. Or if you love that latte or you love that chocolate shake and you're doing a milk day, make sure you've got the ingredients you need in the house and you're not reliant on going out somewhere. So that's number one. If you know it's the leftovers themselves that every year it's something you look forward to and you overindulge, you know what? Wrap them up and give them away. Just do it. It's 1 year. Wrap them up and give them away. Get it out of the house. If you need to, get it out of the house. So your husband is upset because he likes the leftovers, fine. Then give enough for one sandwich or one meal for him or the kids, but get the rest out of the house. do yourself this service. And if it's being around the house that's your problem, then today start making a plan of where you're going to go to get out of the house on Friday. You know, we know Black Friday shopping is a nightmare if it's not what your plan is. So the backup plan shouldn't be going shopping if that's not your plan, right? Like if you're not normally a Black Friday shopper, you don't want to casually show up in the shops because that's aggravating. If it is your plan, great, go enjoy yourself. But if it's not and you don't want to go to the stores on Friday, have a different plan. You know, maybe it's the day you do go to the movies, but bring an anytime treat or some lollies so that you can stick them in your mouth, and the peppermint oil not to be tempted by the popcorn. Make it a day you go for your mani-pedi or your haircut. A lot of those salons, you know, most of them are open on Friday after Thanksgiving. You know, make a play date somewhere. You know, make a plan if you know your friends are home, and, you know, make it a day of Trivial Pursuit or Monopoly or Scrabble, card games, whatever. You know, make a play date for yourself. Grown-ups like play dates too. You know, that's what I say. I went out with my girlfriends the other night and I got a babysitter for my daughter, and she said, "Where are you going, Mommy?" And I said, "It's Mom, you know, Mommy's turn for a play date." And I had a night out with the girls. But Mommy's time for a play date. You know, we deserve that too. That's all great. But make a plan for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Make the plan now. If you know the leftovers are your downfall, you already know this. They're not there yet. Make your plan. And I'm going to go back to, because planning equals success. Safe and happy holiday. And let me say to all of you, I feel that we all have so much to be thankful and grateful for, but most importantly, we are thankful and grateful to all of you, our clients, for entrusting us with your journey, for letting us share in your journey, and for getting to know us and for us getting to know you. Jill and I were talking earlier how blessed we are. We have just the most phenomenal clients. We adore all of you. And again, we're grateful to be in your world and to have you in ours. So at this Thanksgiving time, let me just say thank you to all of you. And I look forward to seeing all of you next Monday. Have a safe and happy holiday. Make sure if you go to an office to check our website for, you know, there are altered office hours this week. All of our offices return to normal hours on Monday, but do make sure to check the website. Our team is here for you. Our live chat on our website, email, text, the support group on Facebook. We are still here. If you need help planning for success on Thanksgiving, please reach out to us. There's still time, and we are here for you. Again, thank you all so much for all that you do and for joining me this evening. Have a happy, healthy, safe, and sensible Thanksgiving holiday, and I'll see you on Monday. Good night.